what's the secret sauce and why does it work so well for veterans?
Well, when you don't have a lot of bureaucracy to jump through, that's really handy. It makes for
Yeah.
a bigger, a wider opening and more space to really connect with people. I do think that that is part of the secret is we
Yeah.
have people who are dedicated to do nothing but really connect with that person. Because like I said, by the time they come to us, they're feeling frustrated. And I'm not saying it's because of the VA. They're feeling frustrated
Mhm.
for a variety of reasons. And so just to have that person get in it with you and really take the burden off of how to navigate care. Navigating care, anybody who's done it knows it's incredibly frustrating. And somebody who's really gets in and gets interested, interested in
Yeah.
listening to that person and their story. And then, making that connection, like taking up some of that footwork, that's a lot of mental space for somebody who's under stress to take on, which is phone calls and waiting and trying to make appointments and dealing with insurance. Just removing that is puts a lot of bandwidth back in somebody's brain. And then we do a lot of good follow up, and we offer some other options. We have peer support, which is a non-clinical approach, which is really building community in a very
Yeah.
therapeutic way, but isn't clinical. And so for some people, it's a great complement to care, to therapy. And for other people, it's a great standalone. That's all they want and need. So we offer those types of supports too. And then we completely support our clinicians. So we do a lot for clinicians to make sure they can show up in this space, feeling educated, feeling confident, feeling supported because they're being stretched thin as well. So I think it's a lot of those things. And really, we ask people what they want to need and we deliver what they want to need. And then we ask them, did that work? And if it didn't, then we're back in it again to figure it out.
Yeah. Speaking of community, I'm a big believer in finding your tribe, man. We can definitely adopt you into this community because you in the trenches, you got a husband that's a veteran and that really matters. And when we hear stuff like that as veterans, that is so important. But speaking of importance though, is that support network for veterans recovering from trauma and how can we get more folks involved?
Oh God, such a great question. Yes, it is. Peer support is, I always think sometimes it's a hard sell. It's not nearly as like well understood or well discussed. I always think it's not as sexy as like talking about clinical care. People just get
Yeah.
it. There is such an incredible power, and you see it with veterans all the time. You see a veteran pass another veteran and they recognize that they both are, and you'll see a head nod, or you'll see, just some
Yeah.
sort of acknowledgement, or you'll see the instant connection, even if they're in different branches. It'll be the banter, whatever it is. The community is so ripe already for this that, you're all leaders, you're all mentors, you truly care about people to your left and to your right. Those are all the conditions for peer support. What we do is add to it. We can add really good understanding of non-clinical mental health, like how to recognize signs that somebody is really going through something, even if they don't say it, what to
Yeah.
do, maybe how to engage in that conversation, and not in a scripty sort of way, but like really trying to understand, like, how do you and that person already engage? And then how can we help you just break through that barrier? And when that person resists, which likely they will, right? They're like, dude, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. Then we can help you gently persist, just push a little harder, push a little more to see, if you can get into that opening. And then also, then what do you do when and a lot of it is people want to be validated for just how they
Uh-huh.
feel. If it is something that's really interrupting their life, and of course, if they're a threat to themselves or others, we have options for getting people into a higher level of intervention. A lot of it is that people want to decompress. And it's really trying to give
Yeah.
people a space where they can just release that valve of pressure a bit, and they generally will feel better. And so we just really teach people how to feel okay with your own feelings of discomfort sometimes and stay in that space. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take a lot of discipline, right? To not give
Yeah.
advice or to not solve their problem, but rather just like be in the moment with someone. And we do a lot of work around that.